So now, so who do you who basically? So now you have a sick person. So and you have to be Mechal Shabbos, right? They're a sick person. They're they're a sick person whose life is endangered. So we've established you have to break Shabbos in order to take care of them. So now the question is, who do you do it? Who does so do you have does a Jew do it? Do you find a non-Jew to do it since he doesn't have a problem with Shabbos? I mean, the Rabbanon, you can't have a non-Jew do something for you on Shabbos, but that's only a Gzeir Midrabanan. And is there a certain way you have to do it? So, but Gemara Maseches Yuma, and the Gemara in Yuma, Mavasa Braisa brings a Braisa. The Ein Oisin Dvarim Halalu, and you do not do these things. What things? Saving somebody whose life needs saving on Shabbos. You do not do these things. Lo yal yedei nachrim. You don't do it not through non-Jews. V'lo yal diktanim, and not through minors, because you would think better he should do it with a kid, because a kid it doesn't have the same it doesn't have the obligation and mitzvahs yet. Ella al yedei gedolei Yisrael. Now in this case, he doesn't mean gedolei Yisrael like that you have to call like the Vizhnitzer and have like, hey, can you fly to Pittsburgh? We have a failure. It means through Jews who are adults. We don't start thinking, oh, well, maybe is it not as bad if a woman does it, right? Or if like an idol worshiper or whatever it is. Which literally means that they combine to a different now set of knowledge. And what does that mean? The Rosh explains that das acheres means be movan shel to'us shanosim vakusim yachshavu shmechalim dafka al yodam mipnei shepikuach nefesh ein dei Shabbos. V'to'uzu tigrim lahem lisatzal bat solam. That they're going to think that what are they going to think? They're going to think that the reason you're trying to use them to do this thing is because that they're going to think that saving a life does not push off Shabbos, right? And that must be why you're trying to get them to do it, right? So it should be less severe or something like that. And then you know what's going to happen? That's going to cause them to essentially be lazy in saving a person, because you're going to feel like they're doing something wrong. Right. Because if like we said about,
like we talked about earlier today about the eating the treif food, where it's like, I know I'm allowed to, but like they might hesitate because like, it's this treif. I'm a yid and I'm going to eat treif. Like, you know, it's just
right. So in this case,
that hesitation,
it's similar to that, but the fact
I'm saying that the hesitation is sakonas nefashos.
Right. So in that case, the hesitation is because it's disgusting to him. In this case, the hesitation being that they're going to think they're going to think that the Shabbos doesn't that the Shabbos, they will realize that Shabbos gets pushed off from if a life is in danger.
I just want to read I quickly looked up Safari's translation. It's from the Quran edition, the William Davidson Talmud. I just like how they translate it. I think it helps. It just clarified in my own mind. There's the wording of them. It's starfin ladas acheres, meaning they write the opinions of these people are going to combine with an additional opinion, meaning, so if there's a machlokes, then their opinions might then be considered when coming to a decision.
Like somebody, there's gonna be another case, and they're gonna say, wait, no, you can't do that. How do I know? Because Rabbi such and such, when this guy was had a heart attack, he made us call the
right,
which makes a lot of sense, because I was wondering, Nashim is not Nashim, fine, one thing, but Kusim, right? They don't keep halacha. What do you care? They're not Jewish,
right?
So what do you care that the non-Jew is gonna think that? See, now that makes more sense.
They're gonna quote something.
It's like just say, actually, by the way, guys, last time that guy had a heart attack, and the rabbi told me to call the. So I'm not so sure if you're. And then they're going to
Should
go,
you
oh,
really
wait a
be doing
second.
that? Right. Like,
Yeah.
it's the classic too many cooks in the kitchen. We don't want that because
Yeah.
it causes problems and delays, and it's not safe.
Right. Very good. That actually clarifies a lot. Because that didn't make sense. Why would Kusim worry about breaking Shabbos? But yeah, that makes sense. They're gonna end up sticking their nose in another situation, and they're gonna cast doubt, and thereby delaying the saving of the life. Taisvis Kosvu Taisvis Rocha Philip Mikdash Efshel Hatzel Aydei Nachri. Taisvis writes furthermore, not just are we talking about that like that if there is no non-Jew available, then you break Shabbos and save the life. But rather mitzvah lechatchila lahatzlai de Yisrael. It's a mitzvah in the first place to save the life, that the Jew should save the life. Why? Because maybe the non-Jew. Now, by the way, we're not talking here about like a doctor is going to do a surgery and he's not Jewish. And you go, no, I'm Jewish. I'm going to do the surgery. We're not talking about that. It was to put a little context here also, because like for example, let's say in Ukraine, certainly back in the 1930s, 40s, etc. And a Jew is what's it called? And you're gonna tell a non-Jew to do it, and he's in a matzav that the whole country's been brainwashed that Jews are dirty and disgusting and their lives are worthless, and where a Jew is going to make sure to do what needs to get done to save the life properly and wholeheartedly, etc., etc.
Okay.
So now I have no source for this, but I imagine that it's possible that would be a lot different nowadays when you have when we're talking about an American paramedic who's who devotes his life to saving lives, etc.
Right.
It wouldn't necessarily be the same scenario. But in either
Right.
case, that's what Taisus writes. Aval Rosh Varan Osru Lahatzlai Dinoch V'Katan. The Rosh Naran, they prohibited to save the life through a minor, right, or
Or
a
non-Jew.
non-Jew. Shema Yachshu Harayim Shos L'Chal Shabbos B'Duch Nefesh. Why? Same thing like we said the last thing. It's not mitzvah from the das. It's not that they're going to butt in, but there could be onlookers, and these onlookers, they see you, Rabbi so and so says, they get the non-Jew to say right, and all of a
Right.
sudden say, oh, I
Which
saw it.
mitzad the Rosh and the Ran, if I was a Rav of a shul and the only doctor in the crowd was someone who happened to be not Jewish, I would tell him to do it, but I'd right away make an announcement, or maybe even mitzad the Rosh and the Ran would be usher for me to tell him. I'd have to tell a yid, no, but I'm a doctor. Step aside. I'm sorry.
Right.
We can't risk people thinking it's usher, and I
Right.
only asked you because you're not
Right. So
Jewish.
these are
I
all
can't
right.
risk it.
100%.
Again, it's a silly example, but Mamish, I totally hear that of like,
I mean, I can only assume that the Rosh and Ran don't mean let the guy die. They mean, in other words, just like before, there was the Svaris, and then they said, however, despite these Svaris, if the one way is going to be faster than the other, you do the way that's faster than the other.
right.
It must be talking about if you have a Jewish doctor and you have a non-Jewish doctor, all like we said
Right.
before,
Absolutely.
all
Absolutely.
other things being even, have the
Right.
Jewish doctor do it, so they shouldn't think the only reason you're using. Wait a second, why is he using the non-Jewish doctor if he has a Jewish doctor who's just as much an expert in this field? And
Right.
then they can say, probably because it's better to be
It's
careful from this, or
right.
right,
It's basically to negate this, try to find the loopholes and the way. No. Do not try to find,
right,
don't waste
because we
time.
know you're not supposed to ask any questions when you save a life.
Right. Just go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're going to try to be they want to do things right, and the next time such a situation they're going to say, wait, let's try to find the last time they used a doctor that wasn't Jewish, so hang on, doctor, let's see if we can find a non-Jewish person or or a minor who can do the same or something like this. A Shulchan Aruch Kasav Kirash. The Shulchan Aruch writes like the Rosh. Shemechalim Shabbos al Chela sheyesh beisakana. That we break Shabbos. It's funny how they say why they still call it mechalalim. Like we desecrate the Shabbos. We're not desecrating it. If we're supposed to do it, why is it called desecrate? We desecrate it.
On Shabbos, we're not supposed to.
We're honoring the Shabbos by doing it.
I think it's mitzad, like the perspective of it's our POV. Mitzad Shabbos doesn't feel disrespect. Like mitzad Hashem, it doesn't feel we're disrespecting. Mitzad our POV, we're used to our point of view. We're used to on this day on Shabbos, we don't do such activities.
Right.
To do such an activity would be to Mechal Shabbos, and the extremity of wording of yes, go be Mechal Shabbos to save a yid. Like it's to remind us, to tell us how important it is that yes, even though it seems like a Chil Shabbos, it's not. Even though it seems like one, but like to me, that's what I keep hearing is every time we say Mechal Shabbos, it's yeah, go do it, even though it seems like it's disrespecting Shabbos.
Right, sort of like how the guy with the nevela, how it feels disgusting because it disgusts him. But yeah,
right.
That we
or I'll tell you.
Or
by
maybe
the way,
it's just the way because it's the way that it's usually said. Also,
yeah, but I'll say an example that I think a lot more people can relate to is the times that they have to eat on a fast day. So first of all, every pregnant woman, every from Lubavitcher girl, every from girl out there, the first time she has to eat on a fast day when she's nursing or pregnant, she's like, no. And a lot of them will try to fast anyway, and it's not safe. It's not safe for the baby. I know somebody who's a nurse in Muncie. She has so many births that suddenly happened by Purim night. Why? Because so many first-time mothers who they go and fast on Tinus Esther because they're convinced I'm going to do it, and they go into labor early, and she has to run out, and she tells them, "Do not go away for Purim because I'm not going to be able to drive. I'm not driving all the way from Muncie to Park."
We actually had a case by us where my wife was told to fast on Yom Kippur. Why? Very simple, because the baby was full term already.
So then fasting, the only thing it's going to do is induce labor.
The due date was Shmini Atzeres. And so we asked the doctor, in other words, is it dangerous at all? And he said, no, it's just a matter of you might go into labor. And so he said, okay, and so what if she goes into labor? So he said, then you'll come here and deliver your baby. It's a full-term baby. In fact, we ended up having to induce because they were like, it's already right. It was the week they already induced the week after, whatever. So it was, in his case, it wasn't a dangerous question, but let's say it's not full term. Going into labor is a problem. You're endangering. Yeah.
Right. All right. So yeah.
So anyway, so the Shulchan Aruch says that you desecrate the Shabbos for a sick person that is endangered. And we try not to do it where possible, obviously. Where it's not going to present a greater danger through a non-Jew or women or minors. But rather through Jews who are adults, and not just adults, but people who are knowledgeable people. Because then people will see and they'll say, "Oh, see, look, even him, he's a knowledgeable guy, and he's doing it. So it's so therefore we know that we're supposed to save a life on Shabbos." So the Rama holds like Taisus. Now, what's the reason? So this is kind of what we're talking about. Let's say the classic example of the American paramedic. Okay, this isn't Ukraine in the 1940s. We're not worried he's gonna do a poopy job. Where this is a guy who devotes his life to saving people of all all races and creeds and colors and genders, etc., right? So we're not worried he's gonna do a worse job because it's a Jew. And says the Rama, if we can do it, and it's and it's not going to be obviously if there's a Jewish doctor and it's faster, then you do that. But if you have a Jewish doctor happen to be visiting your shul, and it happens, so go ahead and use the non-Jewish doctor. Meaning, so he doesn't go by the Rosh Naran. He obviously holds by Taisvis that the reasoning behind it is that you're worried that the non-Jew is going to do a bad job because it's a Jew and he doesn't like a Jew, and therefore, says he, in places where we don't have this problem, just like Taisvis says, in other words, where we're not worried about these kind of non-Jews,
The
then
malpractice.
if again we're talking we're in all these cases we're talking about all other things being equal, because all other things being equal, if you have a non-Jewish doctor, even in those places, if there's a non-Jewish doctor and he can do it fast or whatever, in the meantime he can start until the Jewish doctor gets there or whatever, then you do what's fastest and what's more guaranteed to save the life. Same thing here. If there's a Jewish doctor there, you don't start looking for. The question is, what happens in a case where all things are even, which is why these cases are probably, in some ways, might be fairly rare. Because usually in emergency cases, it's not all things are even. It's there is somebody there who can act fastest, and the bottom line is you take that person who can act fastest.
Right.
Period. But all other things being even, that's how the Shulchan Aruch holds, like Rosh Naran. Is that and the Ramah holds that that no, you can use a non-Jew if there's if you're not worried about him doing a poopy job, and especially, and you're not worried about and it's gonna be just as fast. The Mishnah Berurah says that the Taz, my Zayder, the Taz, the and then obviously the Bach also,
Right.
maternally anyway, because the Taz was the Bach's son. He pushed away the ruling of the Ramah because of wrote meaning again we're talking about they're both there, right? You have a Jewish guy and a not Jewish guy who can both or both available. You can tell either of them to do it, and it'll be and you will not lose any time, right? So he says no. Even so, he pushes away what the Ramah says and says use the Jewish doctor. Why? Because the Jewish doctor is gonna act faster and more like, I mean, which if look, let's look, for example, at this is not lav doctor. This is work everywhere. But let's say in Brooklyn, let's forget who's a Jew and who's not a Jew and what's it called. Would you rather the something angels or whatever guys, or would you rather the Atzala guys? Those Atzala guys, they're gonna jump through every hoop and what's it called? They've already called before. They had another guy drive to the hospital and already prepared that there's a guy coming in. He's gonna be here in 3 minutes. Like, they're gonna jump through more loops. They're gonna do it better. And obviously anything that influences that the life can be saved better. And so the Taz feels that the Jewish guy involved is going to be more have more fire under his underside to get it done.
Right.
And therefore, if there's even even if there's a doubt if the guy is savable, and there is a clear danger, anybody who goes the fastest is the best. From the Taz himself, what does it come that again, we're talking all other things being equal, he holds that it is prohibited to save him, to instruct the non-Jew to save him. Why? Because I guess he holds like essentially like the Rosh Naran, that then people are going to see, and they're going to think that it's prohibited for a Jew to save the life on Shabbos, and that's why you're doing it. Admur Azokin Kosov. You still go to, did they start like mamish at 9:30 or?
Yeah, so we got like 60 seconds. We can do this
Fine.
paragraph.
So it's a long thing what he says. So I guess that's what we'll continue. We'll continue about what the Alter Rebbe says about this thing.
What does the Alter Rebbe add to this? Okay,
Yeah, and how he, I guess, clarifies it, and which the Alter Rebbe often does.
sounds
Um,
good.
okay, very good.
Okay, see you
Sage
tomorrow.
ich, eine gute Nacht.